It's the first GFN Thursday of the month, so we're going to be taking a look at all the games arriving this week while also highlighting the list of titles confirmed to be coming later this month. But before getting into that, let's kick things off by talking about GFN's 3-year anniversary. Crazy to think it's already been 3 years out of beta, and I gotta say, it's come a long way since then. The amount of upgrades they added to the service since it started is just substantial, and it's quickly become my go-to cloud gaming solution because of it. Nvidia themselves have decided to share some numbers publicly about how GeForce NOW is doing, and it's very impressive to see. GFN is celebrating over 25 million members with over 700 million hours streamed from the cloud. The GFN library is over 1,500 titles strong, with over 50 titles taking advantage of RTX on and DLSS. And over the past 3 years, they've expanded globally with over 30 data centers and GeForce NOW Alliance partners in Japan, Turkey, Latin America, and more. And that's without mentioning the upgrades they've made to the service. The new Ultimate tier has enabled ultra-wide streaming, 4K 120fps support streaming, up to 240fps with Nvidia Reflex, and before that we had the 3080 tier as well. I know some people will bring up the fact that the 25 million members doesn't tell us how many of those are paying subscribers, but I think it's clear to see that it's been enough for them to continue to invest in the service. And besides, it still clearly shows that there's a lot of interest in cloud gaming. Props to Nvidia for the success they've seen in the cloud so far, and I can't wait to see where it leads to next. It's been exciting. As a heads up, Priority and Ultimate members can opt into the Nvidia Rewards program and claim a free reward for Dying Light 2. Not sure as to what it is, but it'll be available starting next week. But now it's time we take a look at the games arriving this month, and I gotta say there are some very interesting titles here. But before we go over the big list, let's take a look at each of the titles arriving this week, of which we have 9. Up first is SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake, which is a new release you can pick up over on Steam or the Epic Game Store. The game's best described as a spiritual successor to Battle for Bikini Bottom, a game that a lot of people have nostalgia for. So much so that it was remade not long ago and it saw a lot of success. The Cosmic Shake seems to build upon everything that was there, so if you've been feeling that nostalgic platforming style, feel free to check it out. Chances are you'll really enjoy it. Next is Raiden 4 Cross Mikado Remix, which is a new release you can pick up on Steam. This classic arcade shoot 'em up comes fully equipped with new music, battle modes, vertical screenplay, and much more. I feel like the Raiden franchise is pretty iconic, so I don't know how much I need to describe it, but it's a shoot 'em up with a top-down perspective. This remix is actually bringing a lot of new details that will make it very interesting for those who have played it in the past. Besides what I just listed, there will be new levels, bullet patterns, modes, including arcade, overkill, additional, score attack, and even boss rush, pretty much making it the definitive version of Raiden 4. Following that is yet another new release, and it's Season, A Letter to the Future, which you can pick up on Steam or the Epic Game Store. It's described as a title where you ride, record, meet people, and unravel a strange world around you. It's a very unique indie title, not only in its gameplay, but its beautiful visuals and presentation. The game has you playing as a young woman from a secluded village exploring the world by bike for the first time, collecting memories before a cataclysmic event washes everything away. It's essentially a quest to discover a new world that's unknown yet familiar, while you still can, that is. Now let's take a look at Superfuse, another new release you can pick up on Steam. It's a title that's currently in early access and is a comic book styled hack and slash ARPG with a rich and accessible skill customization system. Personally, I love these types of games, but I couldn't help but notice that it has mixed reviews. Based on what I'm reading, it appears that the game seriously has a ton of potential, but there's a lack of content in the here and now, which is understandable as it just launched into early access. Notably, the developer has already responded to some of the criticisms being shared, and it's great to see that they're working on them already. I'll be keeping an eye on this one, but it's time we move on to the next new release, and it's called Deliver Us Mars, that's available on Steam and the Epic Game Store. The game's a sequel to the award-winning Deliver Us the Moon, so you can expect an atmospheric sci-fi adventure offering an immersive astronaut experience. The game takes place 10 years after the initial mission, and humanity is closer to extinction. It's up to you to go on one last mission where you have to recover the Ark colony ships stolen by the mysterious Outward, and with them, you'll ensure the survival of the human race. Next up is another new release called Perish, available on Steam and the Epic Game Store. It's described as a stylish 1 to 4 player FPS where you slay hordes of creatures on the black sands of Purgatory to sell their gold-stained corpses. I gotta say, the game looks pretty cool. It's got this sort of old-school FPS gameplay look to it, and it seems like it'll be a pretty tough challenge to get through. Boss fights are a big plus, and it seems like they have post-launch support planned. By the way, this does have that risk versus reward style gameplay where you can choose to push further for better rewards or risk losing it all. The next title isn't a new release, but it is available for free on the Epic Game Store, so be sure to claim it between February 2nd to 9th. It's called City of Gangsters, and it's a management tycoon game where you'll start a criminal operation from nothing and grow it into a well-oiled money machine. In it, you'll get to build speakeasies, illegal distilleries, manage production chains, and resource distribution. If you're into the idea of building a gangster empire while having to deal with resource management and strategy sandbox style gameplay, this is one you don't want to miss out on claiming, especially for free. But now let's get back to the new releases, and this one's called Spellforce Conquest of Io. It's a turn-based strategy game in which you field armies of heroes in tactical combat, finish hundreds of quests, and gather spells and artifacts to become the most powerful mage of all. The game features one of 3 archetypes and 6 spell lists, as well as being able to recruit individual heroes and apprentices to lead your troops. Most interesting of all, it says that you can explore over 600 adventures different with each procedurally generated campaign, which means you have a lot to really dive into. Now, the last title confirmed to be coming this week is a game that I won't be going too far in depth with because it's just coming to the Steam platform, and that's Immortal Phoenix Rising. We're starting to see more and more Ubisoft titles come over to Steam, which is always a good thing to see, and I'm glad to see that GeForce NOW will be supporting those versions of the game as well. I've actually played it myself and would recommend it. It's a pretty fun game. Now, while that does cover all the games coming this week, let's take a look at the list of titles that will be arriving later this month. I won't be going in depth on each one, as I do that each and every week when games arrive to GeForce NOW. Subscribe to not miss out on that, but I will be going over the list, and as a heads up, this doesn't conclude all the games coming this month, so if you don't see a title that's there, fret not, there's still a chance it may arrive. This month, you can expect the Dark and Darker playtest, Labyrinth of Galleria, The Moon Society, Wanted Dead, Elder End, Wild West Dynasty, The Settlers, New Allies, Atomic Heart, Chef Life, a Restaurant Simulator, Blood Bowl 3, Scars Above, Heads Will Roll Reforged, Above Snakes, Across the Obelisk, Captain of the Industry, Cartel Tycoon, Ember Knights, Inside the Backrooms, and SimRail, the Railway Simulator. Personal thoughts here, I'm very excited to see the Dark and Darker playtest available. That's a game that has huge potential to blow up once it releases. Wanted Dead is another title I'm pretty excited to see. I know of a few people who are interested in Wild West Dynasty, and Atomic Heart, of course, is the game I'm most looking forward to this month. By the way, I'm super happy to see that THQ Nordic brought SpongeBob this week, as I know a few people have been asking whether or not it was going to arrive, and it's kinda wild to see so many new releases arrive day and date. It bodes well, and hopefully it's just the start. Let me know what titles you're excited for down in the comment section below. Now, if you enjoyed today's video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button, as it really does help the channel out, and if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. As always, thank you for watching, I hope you have a great day. This has been the Virtual Cloud, giving you the latest and greatest on everything cloud gaming related, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.